crime scene because the lady.
You are listening to GN Radio UK.
Alright, young Tello, and I am blue, young confusing, and I am writing. On a Casancho, open radio, so yeah, GN Radio, Kinti, on obey entertaining, obey kitchen, obey what I'm with my keep to listening. Fire.
You are listening to How Do You Do Your Business with Quincy. You are listening to How Do You Do Your Business with Quincy.
You are now listening to Quincy. How do you do your business? Love her and please don't leave her. Woohoo!
GN Radio UK.
Work and happiness.
GN Radio UK.
You are listening to How Do You Do Your Business with Quincy.
You will give your best. We will give our best to beautiful Ghana. Work and happiness. Yes, I must confess. It will bring success for beautiful Ghana. United farmers and workers of Africa, God will bless you wherever you are. Work and happiness, yes, I must confess. All must give their best for beautiful Ghana. United Farmers and Workers of Africa. God will bless you wherever you are. Wealth and happiness, yes, I must confess.
You are listening to How Do You Do Your Business with Queen G.
For beautiful Ghana, I will give my best. You live your best.
You are listening to GN Radio UK.
To beautiful Ghana, to beautiful Ghana, to beautiful Ghana.
Hello, good morning, and welcome to How Do You Do Your Business with Queen G. Today, I am excited as always. Yes, because we've got something for you. I've got on the show or on the phone with me someone who is going to talk to us all we need to know about inflation. You have heard about inflation. What is it about? Do you understand it? How does it affect you? How does it affect me? How does it affect you as a consumer and also affect you as an individual? Inflation affects everybody. Yes, so I don't want to waste much time. I want to bring on the show my guest for today, who is going to tell us everything we need to know. And my guest is a certified accountant. Yes, he's got his own company. The name of the company is Kojo & Co. Certified Accountants or Accountants. And he's going to tell us everything we need to know. I don't want you to go anywhere. I want you to stay tuned as I bring him on. Today we just want to go fast. So just give me 2 minutes. Have a listen to The Ramblers, one of my favorite artists. And this song, I want you to also enjoy it a little bit before I bring you my guest today on a chat with Queen G. So please stay tuned and have a listen.
I don't want to lose the good thing that I've got. 'Cause if I do, I will surely lose a lot. 'Cause your love feels better than any
This
love
is
I
GN
know.
Radio UK.
Like thunder, lightning. I'm not listening about you.
The best music.
No chance. You got me spinning, baby. Baby, I'm in a trance. 'Cause your love feels better than any love I know.
Right, you see, I've been doing everything and I to just people in the second. When you pay for that, and I say, you tip. How do you do your business? Come on, keep listening to your business.
I better not. Whoa. It's no secret that woman feels my loving cup, but she feels, oh yes, that you, that I got enough. Just one touch from her,
are listening to How Do You Do Your Business with Quincy.
Oh, yeah. Binga better not, ooh. Binga better not, ooh. Binga better not, ooh. You got to knock, ooh. You got to knock, ooh. Knock, ooh. You got to knock, ooh. You got to knock, ooh. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. You got to set it, you got to feel it, ooh. I know you got to knock it, you got to set it, ooh. Knock, ooh. You got to knock, ooh. You got to knock, ooh.
Raise the bass aloud.
Oh, yeah. I know you got to feel all I will feel.
That's right. You got to get the feeling. Hello and welcome once again to How Do You Do Your Business with Quincy. Tell me about it. It's all about getting the good vibes this morning. We're going to learn. We're going to educate as well as entertain. So, I told you earlier, my guest is ready and he is going to tell us everything we need to know. If you have joined us on Facebook or YouTube, thank you so much for your time. Please do follow us, GN Radio UK, and also bring in your comments as always, and comments, and also please share and let other people hear and listen and learn as well. So, I am bringing my guest now. Are you ready? Yeah, come on, let's go. Good morning to you, Mr. Kojo Amwa Ako. Good morning, sir.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. How are you doing this morning?
By the grace of God, I'm fine.
Thank you so much, and thank God for everything that He's been doing for us. And I am also so pleased that you have honored our invitation this morning. Thank you for joining us. So today we want to ask you the question: who is Mr. Kojo Amwa Ako?
Well, Kojo Amwa Ako is an accountant who has got his practice in Mitcham in South London.
Mm-hmm.
I have been in practice for almost 30 years. Literally dealing with all aspects of accounting and business advice.
Mm-hmm.
I think most people just take accounting as the people that just keep the records. But I think that account means a lot more than just keeping the records of your business.
Yeah.
And when I meet my clients, the compliance side, which is just the record keeping, only forms a very, very small part of the meeting. And I'm much more interested in the aspirations of the clients. I'm much more interested in how accounting can actually help the clients to grow, make more money, pay the correct amount of taxes, and then enjoy life.
And then enjoy life, make more money, pay the correct amount of taxes, and then enjoy life. What actually inspired you to go into accounting?
Well, accounting pays the bills.
Accounting pays the bills. I like that. Explain.
It pays the bills. I think if you're an accountant, you are likely to get a reasonably paid job.
Okay.
And And yes, it will not necessarily make you a rich person, but at least it can get you by. And that's the most important thing. Most of us really want to be able to pay the bills. Work, whether it's 9 to 5 or whatever it is, make enough money, look after ourselves, our family, get a good home to live in, and that's it. And I think accounting does the job.
It does the job.
Yeah, one of the few professions that you can hope to get a job.
Okay.
At any point in time.
At any point in time, it's one of the most professions that you can get a job. Yes, thank you so much for that. And just a little bit more of yourself. I was saying that growing up, were you inspired to become an accountant based on someone you saw in your area, your mom, your dad, or in your neighborhood, a certain accountant who actually inspired you? Or what is it that actually took you into accounting?
Well, I would say the accounting probably happens to be the best route at that time, because when I finished elementary school, I went to a commercial school, and then there the only route to be a professional was just accounting. Okay. So I took that route, and yes, I never regretted that.
Awesome. It seems to be like it was by accident. However, you never regretted that.
Yeah, well, I mean, in life itself, it's not really one of accident. Probably no one knows our destiny, and therefore you make the choices as you go along. But you want to always make a positive choice, and when you look into the future, I mean, project management, you tend to call it net present value. Whatever gives you a positive net present value, that's the one that you go for.
Yeah.
And that ultimately then gives you a better future.
Good. Thank you so much, sir. And there you have it. The reasons why he got into accounting. You heard everything, so I don't want to go back to it. Today, for our hot topic of the day, we are looking at causes and effects of inflation. What is inflation, sir? Inflation
literally means that prices are going up. Or prices have gone up. I mean, if you look back. And the world that we live in, everything is just going up and up and up. I mean, how do we go backwards? If you go back, then in that case, you are not progressing.
Yeah.
And that's what inflation is. But going forward in terms of prices, in terms of the way we value goods, or in terms of the way we value services, you might probably say that even in the case of the radio, when you started, advertisement in the radio might have cost just about what? £200 per half an hour, no, not per half an hour, £200 for probably 1 minute advert. In a year's time, you probably find out that has gone up to about $250 for the same minute. In the 5 years' time, you'll probably be talking about 2 or 3 times what it is costing now. So that is what inflation is all about. Prices are going up, even though physically the unit of the goods remain the same.
Okay. It remains the same, but then we get worried that our pay, the money that we get, is not enough to actually purchase the goods at this moment when prices are going up. And people of low income tend to get the pinch of it. They tend to suffer more. Why is that?
Well, I mean, as you said, the wages remain the same. If you take it that you are being paid £1,000 a week.
Mm-hmm.
And £1,000 a week now. Tomorrow it will still remain the same £1,000 a week. 10 years time it will still remain £1,000. £1,000 will not change. But what the £1,000 can buy is what really changes. If today with £1,000 you can probably get if it's a computer you can get about say 2 computers, 2 laptops.
Mm-hmm.
In about 3-4 years time, £1,000 might not even be able to get you 1 computer or 1 laptop. So when your money remains the same, the purchasing power in terms of the quantity of the goods that you can buy then goes down. And one of the things which workers face is that whereas the income remains the same, then in that case any changes in terms of what the income can command continues to go down, and therefore their living standard also go down, unless the income can rise to catch up with the rate of inflation.
Yes.
If today you can use £1,000 to buy 2 laptops, and tomorrow you will have to have about £2,000 in order to buy the same laptop with the same quantity of laptop, then in that case you are fine. No matter what, your living standard will not change.
Mm-hmm.
But when the level of income or salary remains the same, then in that case your living standard or what you can command will then go down.
Yes.
And that's why they say that workers are the ones who suffer. Because whereas wages remain the same, what you can command or what your wages can buy go down. I don't know what the last time that you went shopping, but if you probably went to the supermarket just before the COVID with £100, you could get quite a lot of things.
That's
Now,
true.
if you go to a supermarket with £100, you can probably get less than a third of that. That's even if the goods are there.
That is so true. And that brings me to my question. The causes of inflation. What actually causes inflation? And there are these 2 terms that I've been saying. Demand pull and also cost push. What are they and what do they do?
Well, the causes of inflation happens to be a lot. Because when you begin to study inflation, you take the world as a perfect place, a perfect market, a perfect world. And so all other variables are held constant, whereas you only study the effect of the price, which sometimes it makes you wonder whether you live in the real world or not. But assuming you live in a perfect world, if you have got 3 people interested in buying 3 people interested in buying 3 items, then you won't have a problem. But if you've got 3 people interested in buying 2 items, then obviously the seller would like to get the best price that there is. And so they will increase the price to ensure that the highest bidder gets the product. And that becomes demand
And supply.
demand pool, yes.
Okay.
When the demand is more than the quantity there, then in that case the prices will have to go up.
When the demand is
order-
more than the quantities, the price is likely to go up. Okay.
Yes. Then when it comes to cost push, the cost push literally means that the cost of an item is determined by how much it costs to produce. If you are talking about computers, you might be talking about all the chips and the materials that go into making a computer, as well as the people that make it, because the people will have to be paid. And so you have two main elements of cost, which is the wages in terms of people who are doing it, as well as the materials that go into it.
Yeah.
And in terms of materials, we tend to add the profit and the overheads all into it. And so you've got two major elements. Any of that will increase the price. If wages go up, the cost will have to go up. If material prices go up, the cost will have to go up. So those are the two main factors. Assuming you live in a perfect world and you hold everything constant, then those are the two main things that will certainly cause prices to go up.
Amazing topic. Thank you so much for such a beautiful explanation. Now we understand. So if we go to the market and we buy food and the price has gone up, it doesn't necessarily mean physically we see the price has gone up, but it doesn't mean that it has gone up. It's the same. Is that what you mean?
Yeah, I mean, first of all, let us assume that the quality of the goods are the same. And because at the moment, quality is something else. But assuming the quality is the same, and then you go to the shop, and yesterday probably it was £1.50 for a loaf of bread, and certainly it's gone up to £2.
Yeah.
You might ask yourself, why? What is going on? That was just yesterday. Yeah, it could be that the shopkeeper feels that there are a lot more people who want the bread. And so instead of £1.50, £2 will be a better price. And that is demand. Or that the next morning when he went to the bakery to buy the bread, the prices have gone up. Even though the same number of people are in line to buy the product. So when the prices go up from the bakery, he will also have to keep up or increase the price, and that becomes a cost push. So at the end of the day, the products themselves do not change, but there are the factors, either the demand or the supply, that determine what the price at any point in time will be.
Okay. So how does inflation actually affect our earnings?
Inflation affects your earnings. It doesn't affect the earnings as such, but it affects what the earnings can pay or can buy.
Okay.
Inflation doesn't mean anything. It's just that what your salary can command, that is what we are interested in. If your salary can command, if your salary can increase in line with inflation, then in that case you have got nothing to worry about. If it can't keep up with inflation, then there's a problem. If it is more than inflation, then in that case, yes, you are living well.
Okay. If it is more than inflation, you are living well. If it is not more than, what can you do to ensure that you will live well?
Well, I think it depends. It depends on whether you are a consumer or you are an investor. What can you do to live well? What can you do to ensure that your living standard is better than inflation or is higher than inflation, or your living standard or the wealth that you have really is ahead of inflation? I mean, if you take probably house prices, if you have £1 million now and you don't live in London, you might be able to buy about, say, 3 or 4 houses.
Yes.
Now, if at the same time you leave that 1 million in the bank, it will always be 1 million in the bank. Interest rate is literally nothing to write home about. But that 3 houses that you have got, in 4 or 5 years' time, the prices will probably then go up 40, 50, or even more. So instead of you having 1 million, suddenly you find out that the house prices have gone up so much that the 3 houses will make you about say 4 or 5 million pounds. And that is the beauty of you having your money in assets rather than your money in the bank.
Okay.
So, as I said, it really depends on where you stand, whether you are an investor or whether you are a consumer. If you are an investor, then in that case, inflation will be good for you because you always want to put your money in physical things rather than just leaving the money in the bank.
You want the money to work for you in a certain way as you invest, whether in stock or in bonds, rather than just putting it in the bank, resting there, which is not going to yield any more money, isn't it?
Yes. Well, as I said, when you look at the value, the effect of inflation, you look at it more in terms of whether you are an investor. An investor does not necessarily mean that you are a company. It does not necessarily mean that. You could be a company
or individual.
Or individuals. And when it comes to financial management, you've got different criteria altogether. Whether you are, if you are a company over trading or not. But if you decide, as I gave you that example of 1 million pounds, today you might be able to get 3 houses.
Yeah.
In 4 or 5 years' time, the 3 houses might be worth about, say, 4 or 5 million instead of just the 1 million pounds now.
Yeah.
Whereas if you leave it in the bank, in 3 or 4 years' time, the interest rate at the moment is nothing to write home about. You'll be very, very lucky even to get interest of just about £10,000 on that. So you'll find out that you have lost out if the money just remains as it is rather than investing.
Okay.
And likewise, if you are an individual, in order to cope with inflation, you might probably like to borrow in order to maintain the same level of standard of living. If you or your family normally lives on 2 loaves of bread every morning, and when you went to the market or the shop yesterday, a loaf of bread was £1 and today is £2. In order to be able to have the same level of standard of living, you can then go out there, either dip into your savings or work hard to make another extra pound, or borrow another extra pound in order to have the same standard of living.
Yeah.
So you find out that depends on where you come from, inflation might be good or not.
Depends on where you come from. Inflation might be good or not, depending on our side of the world that we came from. How is inflation like that?
Well, I think if we are talking about inflation, we also tend to mix up the issue of inflation that in the third world, like in Ghana, and then inflation here. We come here and then we study inflation based on perfect economy or developed economy. We go to Ghana and our inflation is a whole mixture of things. Because we depend on this country or in advanced countries, whatever happens there affects us. And so, I mean, it's just like you buying a flat. If you buy a flat, you buy it with all the problems of the other leaseholders. Whereas if you buy a freehold, then in that case you don't have any problem. In Africa or in the developing countries, our economies are really tied to the hip of the advanced countries. So whatever happens in the advanced countries, they affect us
Mm.
without any fault of ours.
Mm-hmm.
And it is sad, but you tend to have inflation very, very high in Africa, and they really don't mean much.
Mm.
You have inflation here very high, and everybody starts screaming because here they've got a different base altogether in determining the variables of inflation. Whereas in Africa, no matter how well you plan, you are not in control. What happens in advanced countries affects us.
Mm-hmm.
So it is difficult to
Strike the balance.
look at inflation.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, not even strike the balance. To look at inflation in Africa and then relate it to what happens in advanced countries.
Mm. Okay. Because
Yeah,
of the
but-
dynamics, the
Yes.
changes in our economy and how we do things, and also the advanced country how they do things, is totally different from our way. However, the doings of the advanced country affect us.
Yeah.
Okay. So how does inflation affect interest rates?
Well, here also we tend to base our studies on the advanced countries much more than the developing countries.
Mm.
I mean, if we are all living in the same perfect world,
Mm-hmm.
then in that case, interest rate, you can use interest rate to regulate the economy.
Mm.
You can use interest, assuming that you are in a position as an investor.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, an investor during the time of inflation, you would like to borrow in order to invest because the money will work for you.
True.
If you are a consumer and you haven't got any means, in order to maintain the same standard of living, you will have to borrow in order to command the same level of purchasing power. And so the central banks use interest rate to prevent people from borrowing because the cost will be high.
Mm-hmm.
The central banks use interest rate to encourage people in borrowing, especially when they want to encourage investment. And if it is international, the central banks uses interest rate in order to encourage a lot more investment, inward investment.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you have got the same level of economy as far as United States and UK are concerned, and if you invest 1,000 in United States, you'll be able to get about 10% interest, whereas you invest the same amount of money in United Kingdom and you're going to get, say, 5%, you obviously invest your money in the economy that is going to give you 10%.
Yeah.
Yeah. So central banks use interest rate in regulating the economy. But when you go to Africa, you have got a problem. Because our interest rate, no matter how high they are, they don't mean much because there are so many factors that determine the inflow of funds.
Mm.
There's so many factors. And sometimes interest rate could be a deterrent. Assuming the interest rate is about 40%, how can you borrow at 40% and be able to make any meaningful investment?
That's true.
Because the majority of that will go into the banks.
Mm-hmm.
But whereas if interest rate was 40% in UK, in the comparative economy between UK, United States, Germany, and the rest, you would like to certainly see where you can get a better return.
Yeah.
So what I'm saying is that interest rate is used by the central bank in order to regulate the economy. But when it comes to Africa, it has got different dynamics altogether. Because our economies are affected not only by what goes on internally, but what goes on externally as well, where we don't have any control.
Thank you so much for this topic this morning. Please give me a minute. Let me recognize my Facebook family. Hello, good morning to you, Lady Patience Aveka. She says, hi, Queen G. Good to see you again. Thank you. Good to see you as well, Lady Patience. And also from Lady Patience, she said, good morning. Good topic. Well done. Thank you. And this is also from Ndeko Philemon. She says, I love the topic. And this is from Saraya Israel. She said, hi, Lady Patience. Thank you so much, all of you, for joining us. Good morning to you, Saraya and Lady Patience Ndeko. All of you who have joined us this morning. Thank you so much. Sir, we really appreciate what you are doing for us this morning. What can we do in these times? Inflation, interest rates. Is it a good time for us to, if you have the means, to buy a property, example, a house?
Well, as I've already said, I mean, if you've got money, or assuming you are in a perfect economy, okay, then in that case, during times of rising prices, your best bet is to put your money in investment or in properties or in physical product, rather than just leaving it with the bank or putting it under your pillow. Yeah. But that's just one side of it. The other side is that in times of inflation, one has to be careful because of the impact of borrowing on our lives. When you are living in difficult times, that's the time that you don't go about thinking that you live in the past, but rather to re-examine your life and then to make savings and sacrifices until the storm really calms down. Because if you decide that despite the fact that things are going up, prices are going up, you want to live as in the past.
Yeah.
And therefore you decide to go and then borrow, you might find yourself in a very, very difficult situation. So in the world that we face now, I mean, what I advise clients is that this is not the time to really go about bragging, thinking that you is the good old days. No, it isn't. This is the time to take stock, take your time, have patience, reevaluate issues, ensure that those things that are not necessary, you cut them down, or you try and change your habit until the storm really calms down. Then you can either have a new lifestyle or you can go back. But during times of high inflation, high cost of living, it is the time really to sit back and take stock, whether you're a business or you are an individual. We in financial management, we have got different ways of tackling inflation and rising costs, which I'm not going to go in now, but unless you are able to see the signs and you can plan effectively, then in that case, you are likely to be overtaken by events.
I was going to ask you, how would we know that inflation is on its way coming? And then you brought in this. So please educate us a little bit on that.
Inflation on its way coming. Well, inflation itself is just a basket of prices put together. Again, you might have the general headlines of inflation.
Yeah.
and then you might have inflation relating to a specific area. And there are so many sources of data. National Office were in the trade, magazines, government departments. There are so many areas whereby you can get a feel that the things are changing, prices are going up. And most industries, they have got departments that deals with specific forecasts. And you can have an indication from there. If you are a property developer, probably the building societies, their own research department will come up with historical figures as well as forecasts.
Yeah.
That prices did go up by 2%, 10%, or whatever. But September prices went up by 10.1%, general headlines of inflation in UK. That will differ from other countries, and it will be certainly different from Ghana. But that's just a general headline. And then you might have specific prices relating to properties, relating to fuel, relating to food. There are so many of them. But the way that you can know it is more or less be aware of current events.
Current events.
Yes.
Like the corona happenings and tea rolls. People were rushing for tea rolls. And please tell us a little bit more.
Well, I mean, the corona is it brought about its own problems. I mean, the issue with current UK economy is that Brexit brought about huge effect on the UK economy. I mean, GDP went down by almost 6%, which was very, very huge. I mean, I remember the night that the results of the referendum became known. The pound just dropped. It dropped like a rock. And then we didn't see the full effect of that, and the coronavirus also came in. We didn't fully grasp that. Then the war came in. And so UK economy has been decimated for a very, very long time. And we really don't know how long and when it is going to recover. Yeah. And all those things, they go into to tell the residents in the United Kingdom that there are rough times ahead. And this is not a time to really to go about thinking that it is a good old days. Okay, these are completely new era, and so trying to cope with the situation. If you've got money, try and then put it in tangible assets rather than leave it in the bank, because things will get worse.
Things will get worse.
If you haven't got that, try to restrain yourself from borrowing in order to live. Because things might get worse. An example that I give to my client is that, assuming that you've got electricity bill coming in, and it's about £200, and you haven't got the money to pay for that. Obviously, you cannot live in the cold. So you either try and then reduce the level that you use electricity, or that you try and go out there to make more money in order to pay for the electricity, or that you go and then borrow, or that you even sell some of the furniture. These are all choices.
This is GN Radio UK.
Electricity bill. And the next one comes, what do?
Yeah.
The furniture is no longer there.
You are listening to How Do You Do Your Business with Queen G.
So you need to have a lifestyle change.
You need
a
to
lifestyle change.
have a lifestyle change. So does it mean that inflation, once it happens, it doesn't really take us back to where we were? It just continue growing and growing.
Yeah. It's impossible for you unless you have a situation whereby you call deflation. But that's just not possible in this modern world.
Okay. Tell us a little bit about deflation.
Deflation is when prices go down rather than go
increasing.
up. Yeah. You don't have it now. I have never seen it since I started growing up. Things have always been going up.
Has it ever happened?
Might in the past, but we haven't got empirical evidence to say that during this era or this particular time prices went down. I mean, it's going to be impossible. I mean, I normally give an example that, like, if during the time we had independence around the 50s and 60s, Ghana was just about 8 million.
Yeah.
And we are now 30 million. And resources haven't really changed that much. Will prices ever go down?
Will prices ever go down? That is the question. Will prices ever go down? Say, I want you to give me 2 minutes. I need to bring to my listeners' attention what I have here, a little advertisement from our sponsors. Okay. So please give us 2 seconds. We'll be with you soon. I got it open and it's gone back again. 1 minute, please.
Become a successful entrepreneur with Jackie and her professional team. Become a successful entrepreneur. Anase Base. Wami a team of professional teachers of economics, marketing, ninga omoyebi. So pesa will transform your life from a youth graduate and a school leaver. Na so pesa wo ye entrepreneur. Mon contact Base. Entrepreneur no che say obi a ebia wa wo business. Ebia wo ye che. But wo pesa wo ye no in a professional way. To say Oprah Winfrey. Anaya papa Kwame Despite. Base betmama sa Diano Abim. One your experts ewo coaching and a mentoring. And as one person will start wa business base for better how ubesi expand your business and as existing customer base. Base provides support in business plans, step-by-step finance applications and marketing strategies. Base or become a successful entrepreneur also provide entrepreneurship skills through vision and determination. Some more per free consultation for a Base ewo
073 99 867 417. I repeat 073 99 867 417.
And also one email address info@becomeasuccess.co.uk. Website www.becomeasuccess.co.uk. Mokohwa mobetimi make bookings for an appointment. Base and I said become a successful entrepreneur. Let's turn your vision into a reality.
That you have it, but I've got another LPM to give you. And this is the UK government's new energy support schemes. And this could save the average household around £1,400 a year. As part of this, all households in Great Britain are eligible for a £400 discount to help with the cost of energy bills this winter. The energy bill support scheme will be paid in installments over 6 months, starting in October, and you won't be asked to pay the money back. If you use a traditional prepayment meter, make sure your energy supplier has your up-to-date contact details so you can receive the discount on time. Your supplier will send you vouchers by SMS, text, email, or post. You will be told where to redeem your discount, which could be your nearest post office or PayPal store. Remember, you will never be asked to share your bank details to receive the discount. Please visit government.uk/help for households to find out more. This is where time brings us. Thank you so much for staying with us. Hello, sir.
Hello.
Good morning once again, and thank you so much for staying with us.
It's a pleasure.
So, as we are going to run away now, I hope you will come back to educate us one more time. And we want your final words, please.
Well, my final word is that in times of difficulties, just keep your calm. And then wait for the storm to die down, because things like this will not go on forever. If you've got any money to spare, try as much as possible to invest rather than keep it in the bank. Try as much as possible not to borrow in times of crisis. And when the storm is over, then in that case you will be able to wake up to a better morning.
Thank you. What an advice. If you are a small business owner or you have your big firm, whatever you do, please, you will need an accountant. And if you are looking for an accountant, call this number 0208 646 8113. You will get to meet Mr. Kojo Anwa Ako, the man who has spoken to us today and given us this amazing advice. The company's name is Kojo & Co. Certified Accountant. They will give you all the advice you need, accountancy and business advice. This is where time will will bring us, and we are so grateful that you find the time to join us. Sarah Israel, good morning and thanks for all your time. Thank you, sir, for joining us. As always, I love you. So you too, love me and don't leave me. Woo! Come on!
Bye.
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 Good morning.
Ada